Hi guys, Everyday Knife Guy here, and today we are talking SAKs. And as you can see, here's a lot of SAKs on the table here. This is not my whole collection by any stretch, but this is a selection that I think I've picked out to illustrate the points I'm going to make. And the question we're discussing today is how you might narrow down from the thousands and thousands of options and variations available to find which SAK would be right for you. Whether it's the first Swiss Army knife you buy, or whether you're looking to add something specific to a small collection or whatever, how do you go about picking which one you want? So the question was posed to me by Rando Survivor, and this is his channel here, so go check him out. Let me see if I can get the focus for you. Rando Survivor, there you go. And he posed a question to me in the comments recently, asking, which Swiss Army knife I would recommend. And that kind of got me thinking about it. I hadn't really given it a lot of thought before, to be honest, and it sort of brought up a number of different aspects in my head that might help you to select something that's suitable for you. And it's one of these things. It's personal preference, of course, but there's a couple of models in here I would recommend in particular, and I'll pick those out as we go. But there's a number of different criteria we can look at to help you narrow down to something that might suit your everyday carry or your occasional use, or whatever role a Swiss Army knife fits in your life. So I'm going to run through a few things and a few discussion points, and happy to hear your thoughts and anything else you think should be added to the equation in the comments. So yeah, let's get started. So if you're selecting any knife, I think one of the first things to consider is legality. That is, what is permissible where you live. If you commonly travel, what is permissible in locations that you tend to go to a lot, something that's going to be suitable for basically the region or the areas that you live in. Swiss Army knives are blessed with fairly universal legality. Something typical like this Pioneer is a short blade. It's not locking, it's a slip joint, of course. Yeah, something like that is usually legal in most countries, even in Britain, which has fairly strict knife laws. I'm no expert on worldwide knife laws, but I know that here in Canada things are a little bit more lax, and certainly all of these are legal here. Most SAKs are slip joint style. Some are locking, such as these knives here, or this Adventure, which has a button lock. So if locking blades are not permitted in your country or region, that's something that you could instantly eliminate all those kind of models from your search. So that's probably the first thing to look at. Narrow things down to, maybe just these ones would be legal where you live, and then you can go from there. So that might be the first thing you want to look at. Going on from that, what sort of tasks are you looking to perform? Is this going to be just a backup blade to your everyday folding knife carry? You might have something like this in your pocket that fulfills most tasks for you, or it may be that the Swiss Army knife is going to be in your backpack or whatever. You need to look at what you want to do. Do you live and work in the city? In which case your tasks are probably going to be things like snipping threads on clothing, opening letters, cutting up boxes, that sort of stuff. Obviously, I'm being very general here. I don't know what your specific day-to-day tasks are, but if you live in an urban environment, it's much more likely those are going to be your day-to-day tasks, rather than, for example, sawing up logs for a fire, something like that, which you may want something like this. Nope. You may want a blade like this with some serrations on it. You might be out in the country, you might be working on a farm, something like that, cutting twine, cutting through thick plastic wrapping. I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I can only generalize and speculate and relate to what I do in my everyday life. I live in a small town. The tasks I would typically use a Swiss Army knife for would be some things around the garden and yard, but primarily they'd be indoor stuff. Food prep, as I said, opening letters, cutting up stuff for recycling, just anything that come across. And for me, it's a secondary blade, it's a backup, it's something that lives in the bottom of my pocket usually. I have something on my keychain, I have something in my pocket, something in this size range. And usually it will come out if there's a small task that needs performed, particularly if it's something that I don't want to use a more expensive main blade such as this for. It could be getting this knife a little bit dirty, or potentially It could be a little bit dangerous to the blade, could be chipping it or prying with it or something like that. I don't want to be using an expensive folding knife for that, so I'll tend to use my Swiss Army knife because they are generally a bit cheaper. So think about what you might be doing. You might be the sort of person that every weekend you spend in the mountains or in the forests, going camping, doing minor bushcraft work. You might want a heavier use locking blade such as this for that. You might be in a work situation where you're a handyman, or you have lots of maintenance tasks to do in your job. You might want something like a Swiss champ, which is a huge range of tools on it and is kind of a toolbox in itself. So having something like that on your belt might be very useful. You've got all sorts of options on there. So it really depends on both your work and your personal life, and what sort of stuff you do. If you own your own home and you're particularly handy and you always find you're doing stuff around the house, tightening screws, changing light switches, I don't know, repairing things in the house, plumbing, electrical, whatever, again, something like this might be useful. Or perhaps something like, let's pick out something here, something like this compact might be useful, which is a medium-sized Swiss Army knife. It has a range of tools on it, but is very, very small in your pocket. So it's something you could carry around the house 24/7, and you'd never really notice it's there in the bottom of your pocket. So something like that could be useful. I'm going to backtrack a little bit here and explain what I have on the table. In my head, there are kind of 4 distinctive categories of Swiss Army knives. And of course, we have Celador scaled and nylon scaled plastic Swiss Army knives, and we have the Alox aluminum oxide metal scaled Swiss Army knives. Now, this video kind of assumes a basic knowledge of what is what, and some sort of idea of what the models are that are available to you. But in terms of groups, we have this here, which covers kind of everything from the 84s up into the 90mm models, which I'd say is sort of the mid-size or typical regular size Swiss Army knife, the classic size that we all know. Then we have this, which is all based kind of on the classic platform, apart from these single layer ones that I've included in small Swiss Army knives. It's all based on the classic platform, which is a small 58mm knife, single layer or a few layers, but keychain size, I would say. Then we have over here the large or extra large models, and these are a little quirky usually. They're very different from your typical knives. We have things like one-handed opening systems, like a Spyderco opening hole. We have knives that include multiple layers, such as this Swiss champ. Sorry, I'm not sure what's going on with the focus of my camera today. It's not the best. We have two locking blade versions, such as this Dual X Pro. Larger, kind of a little bit more out there designs and a little bit more specific to what you might want to use them for. These are kind of general use, everyday utility. These are general everyday utility keychain, and we have the extra large, which are a little more specific, might be more accustomed to being in your backpack or something like that. And over here we have these are the only 2 models I could find in my collection to represent this category. What I would call more kind of the quirky or eccentric Swiss Army knives that are kind of focused on a particular task. So, for example, we have this golfer here, which is, to all intents and purposes, just a regular classic size, something like a Rambler or something like that. But it has an application-specific tool, if you like, which would be this divot repair tool, which basically makes it the golfer. So that has been designed for a specific purpose. Or perhaps this Wenger clipper, which, as you can see, is very eccentric and designed for a very specific purpose, because it actually has nail clippers on it. So stuff like that, you may find that you want something like this if you travel a lot. You may want this for your toiletry bag or something like that, and that's a very specific model. So if your needs are that specific, that will make your search very easy, because there's likely only 1 or 2 models in the range that will satisfy your needs, and that'll be what you go with. If you're more into general day-to-day stuff, there's 2 things that will then, after the legality issue and kind of thinking about what you're going to be doing with your knife, there's 2 things that will help narrow it down further. How you carry the blade, so whether it's going to be pocket carry, whether it is going on a keychain that you carry with you all the time, whether it's going on a keychain that you only carry at work or only at home, whether it is going in a backpack or an EDC kit or a bug out bag, or whether it's going in your vehicle. All these things kind of feed into the size, weight considerations, and what sort of tools you might want. But also, no less important, of course, is aesthetics. And you may like this kind of classic look, which of course is the red Celador scales and the silver logo, and this, to most people, embodies the kind of the classic Swiss Army knife. This is what it looks like, this is what they expect it to look like. Whether you go with a red, a black, white, whatever, these are all much and such the same, and that's, you know, if you like that, that's fine. I like it too, but I do prefer in general the Alox models in terms of looks. I'll look at some of these smaller ones as well. I do like the yellow scales on these. So you may like the look of the Celador, or you may prefer the Alox models. This is the Black Pioneer. Okay, and this is the hard, slightly higher quality feeling finish to it with the aluminum oxide metal scales, and of course lots of anodized colors, and you know, collecting these can in itself be a bit of a hobby because there's just so many variants. So there you go. The last thing you might want to consider, and I'm going to go over some specific models here once we get through kind of all these considerations. The last kind of thing you might want to consider is budget. How much are you looking to spend? Now, unless you're looking to pick up something that's a bit of a more unusual model, such as this limited edition Cadet, or a bit of a rare one, such as that blue Classic, unless you're looking to pick up something like that, or something particularly large, such as the Swiss Champ, and even that can be found for a good price these days if you buy used on eBay or something, then for the most part, you're not looking at spending that much money. They are not that expensive for what they are and for the general quality of them. I had a quick look at prices on Amazon.com at the moment to give you guys some idea. Your typical classic, such as this one here, which is just the basic classic model, and if you don't know, the classic just has small scissors. Get that out of there. Small nail file and flathead screwdriver. Small pen blade. So for that, you're looking at anything from $12 and up. So really very, very affordable. Even in the Alox version, such as, we'll look at this nice blue one here, one of my favorites. If you're looking to get into something that maybe matches an outfit or matches your EDC, or you're just into a certain color, maybe that's your favorite color, obviously you can be looking at paying 20, 30, 40, 50 and up. Just depends on how rare and how limited the model. So basically as much as you want to spend a classic, but you can pick one up for as little as $12, so very, very cheap. The compact, which is this one over here, and let's have a little look at what the compact has on it. This for me is one of the ultimate kind of EDC Swiss Army knives. It has a great range of tools. It is only 2 layers thick. It's quite lightweight, so it doesn't take up a lot of real estate in your pocket. Has a large blade, the full size scissors, which are excellent. Victorinox scissors are really great for EDC, and it has the combo tool, which is one of my personal favorites, which combines the can opener and bottle opener. I'm getting a little bit into the specifics here, guys, but bear with me. Which combines the can opener and bottle opener that you might find on something like this driver, and turns that into one tool, thus keeping this to a smaller, thinner package. So it's a really great value option. It has toothpick, tweezers, it even has a pen built into it. So it's an excellent EDC. You can see it has a corkscrew on here, which is something you may not use very much, but even that also houses a small eyeglass screwdriver, which is very useful to have a mini screwdriver on you. Again, I apologize for the focus on the camera here, guys, it's really not the best. It even has a pin housed in the scales there, you can see. So this is a great all-around option, definitely one of my most recommended SAKs for EDC, and this you can pick up for $30 approximately. So again, not a very expensive option. A lot of people might not be into the collecting thing. If you're just looking for one SAK to kind of accompany you every day, live at the bottom of your pocket, you could do a lot worse than that for $30. So even if you're looking for a larger kind of full size, and you're looking for something for your hiking bag or for day-to-day, perhaps a belt carry, something like that, you could pick up something like this German Army knife, which is a one-hand opener, for $35. And it is quite a capable tool again. So you have your main locking blade, you have the can opener, bottle opener, large flathead screwdriver, What else do we have? We have the saw on here, which is what I was trying to find earlier. So, you know, if you're working out in the woods or your job takes you out in the outdoors a lot, that might be useful to you. And on the back, we have a full 3D Phillips. So a pretty well featured tool. It actually has a piercing awl there as well. And something like that is only going to run you $35. So again, pretty affordable option. If you like the aesthetics of the Pioneer, for example, and this is the basic Pioneer, just in the classic silver A-Lux scales, you're looking for this exact model currently on Amazon, $28. So really not too expensive. The Pioneer just has your basic tools, large pen blade, bottle opener, large flathead wire crimper. Close that up before I cut myself. Can opener, small flathead, and all piercing awl reamer on this side. So some good tools, nice high quality feel for under $30. Something like the black one here, you'll be looking a little bit more. And of course, there's a lot of variations on these different colors, and you can be paying, you know, anything up to as much as you want to pay, depending on how rare, or if you're looking for a custom model or something like that. But again, that's more down to preference and whether you're into the collecting aspect. If you're just looking for one of these for day-to-day carry, bit of a higher quality, better feel version of something like this, then again, under $30, that's yours. Even something like this Cadet, which is a limited edition one, and the Cadet, if you don't know, is a shorter Pioneer with a slight change in that it has the same tools here: can opener, bottle opener, and two flathead screwdrivers, large pen blade. But instead of the awl, it has nail file and nail cleaner on this end. So that is the Cadet. And this one here, again, you're looking at, think about $30–40 for the limited edition. So not too expensive. So overall budget, you know, it's really more down to which model you want. You're not looking at a huge range in prices unless you're looking for something very specialist. So yeah, so recommendations. Well, within the small category, I should talk quickly about these two here. These are, well, this is the Secretary, which is a basic A-Lux model. Again, you know, $20 or less will pick you up one of these, and it is just a simple two-blade model. So if you're not really interested in the other tools, bottle openers, can openers, all that sort of stuff, scissors, then you might just want this as a backup blade. And it's in the small category because it is super thin, super lightweight carry. If you just want a small blade, it'll slip even into the coin pocket of your jeans. You could certainly do a lot worse than that. And yeah, I mean, I think it's significantly less than $20. I should have checked the price on that. But anyway, in the small category, I think I would probably most highly recommend this one, which is the Rambler, which is basically the size of the Classic, a little thicker because it is two-layer here. But in this package, you get scissors. Whoops. You get the same nail file small flathead as the Classic. Let's leave that part to last. You get a small knife blade, perfect for, you know, small light duty tasks. But you also get this little 3D Phillips and combo opening tool, which is really handy. Wire crimper on there too, which is really handy to have and is a huge bonus over and above the Classic, I think. Again, these are pretty easy to come by, not very expensive. That would for sure be my recommendation for a keychain basic Celador scale model. And you can get these in A-Lux too, of course. And of course it has toothpick and tweezers on the end there as well. So really a lot of features in a very small package. Definitely a winner for keychain. A little bit up in size, as I mentioned already, I would totally recommend the Compact over something like, for example, this Climber here. It's a little bit thicker and heavier. I would, excuse me, and the reason this is a bit bigger is that it does away with the combo tool and uses two full-size opening tools in the opening layer. I would definitely recommend the Compact as kind of the ultimate EDC model in this normal size range, if you will, the regular size. We went through the tools in that quickly, so a lot of features on there, and again, not too expensive. If you're looking for higher quality, the great debate is between the Cadet, or I always say higher quality. It's not necessarily higher quality. It's a slightly higher quality feel, I think, having the metal scales as opposed to the plastic. The great ongoing debate is whether you go with the Cadet or the Pioneer. For me, the Pioneer wins hands down. It's a thicker blade stock, chunkier feeling blade. Still not too huge in the bottom of your pocket, but just to me feels a bit more substantial. That's one I would go with. Moving on to the full size, I think it really is quite hard to beat the Swiss Champ. We'll do a quick run through the tools on this. This one here I picked up for, I think it was about $35 or $38 US used on eBay. It had old red scales in it, which I changed out for these nice white ones, and I really like those. And it is a whole toolbox to itself. You could do a lot worse than putting this in your backpack or on your belt for day-to-day use. So let's quickly run through what we have. We have the two opening tools. Cap lifter, large flathead, can opener, small flathead, wire crimper. Open them out as we go. Dedicated 3D Phillips driver. Magnifying glass, never know when you might need that. What else do we have? This one has pliers. They're not heavy duty, but of course always nice to have a small set of pliers for grabbing a fastener or something. Full size scissors. What's next? We have saw, I guess, or is that? I don't even know if that is a saw. It's so rounded off. Anyway, we have. You can see there's a small ruler on there. What may or may not be a saw. I can't remember if this does have a dedicated saw or not. That feels kind of smooth to me. Oh, there's the dedicated saw. There you go. So saw, large knife blade. Oops. Large knife blade there. And what else do we have in here? We have a full-size file, metal file, with a little piercing point on the end. And small knife blade. So you can see there's a huge amount of tools just on this side. And then we turn over and we still have more. Corkscrew with eyeglass screwdriver. What else is there? We have small flathead on that side, or small, it's almost like a little chisel point on it. And what else? Some of these are quite hard to get out. Another small flathead there. I guess the other one was designed more as a scraper or chisel. This one's very tight spring, and a little piercing reamer there with sewing eye, and that's the scale. That's tools on the back scales. We still have pen in here, toothpick in there, and tweezers in here. So absolutely massive array of tools. None of them particularly heavy duty, of course, because you know, when you have that amount of stuff on one knife, nothing is particularly standout. But they're all very functional. Let's go try and close all these at once. Very functional and useful, and to have something like that in your bag or on your belt would be a great addition as a multi-tool. A lot of people don't particularly class Swiss Army knives as multi-tools, but they kind of are in their own way. So that would probably be my recommendation in the full size or large Swiss Army knife bracket. So I think that about wraps it up, guys. This video wasn't particularly scripted, I don't know if you could tell, but we've gone through it and I think I've covered most of the points I wanted to. Swiss Army knives are a great option, pretty much regardless of what your lifestyle is and what sort of stuff you do in your day-to-day life and what you need a tool for, because there are so many variants available. It can be a little hard to narrow down what you want, but half the fun is choosing something you think will work, buying it, finding it might not be quite perfect, and then continuing your search to find something better. That's part of the fun. So hopefully this was useful to you, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back with more SAK and knife videos soon. Have a great day. Cheers.